Hi, and welcome to Indigo Starfire. My name is Bevin, and in this reading, I'm going to be doing some quick little love notes from your person. This is going to be a message cards only reading, and there are 3 groups to choose from. Group 1 is the Onyx. Group 2 is the clear Calcite. And group 3 is the Citrine. So if you want to take a moment to center, focus on your breathing, and feel whichever group, maybe multiple groups or perhaps all of the groups that you're most drawn to. I'll give you a minute to make your selection and then we'll get right into it. And there are timestamps in the description box of the video for each group if you'd like to jump ahead, which I do recommend using so that you can skip over me shuffling cards in between groups to clear the energy of the group I've just read for and tap into the energy of the group I'm about to read for. So again, I'll give you a minute. Please use the timestamps and we'll get into your reading. Hi, Group 1. You chose the Onyx. So I'm going to be getting 3 cards from 3 different decks, and let's see, what does your person want you to know right now from their higher self? Okay, and they say, I'm resisting my desire for you because it's too late now. We've grown apart and you've moved on. So this is definitely the energy of realizing what you've had now that it is gone. So someone who may have been running from you, trying to stuff, suppress, or deny their feelings has come to the realization that behind that illusion, behind that mask, there are some deep and abiding feelings that they have for you that have not ebbed with the flow of time, but have in fact only increased, magnified, and remained very persistent despite their efforts to extinguish these feelings, distract themselves, move on in other directions. And it's really bringing a lot of frustration to them at this point in time, wondering if it would be too little too late, a little bit of fear that is sort of holding them back from at least reaching out and making the effort at this point in time, kind of assuming the worst in this situation based on maybe a lot of time that has passed, or some rigorous efforts that they had undergone to try and squash the feelings that they had for you, or to run from or ignore these feelings in the past. So for some of you, this may have meant moving in the direction of a third party, and perhaps that situation has come to a conclusion, kind of like the grass is not greener on the other side energy, where maybe that situation had been very pleasing on the surface level, hadn't been very challenging, had fulfilled this individual on an ego level, but now their soul is thirsting for you. They have been unable to find satisfaction and satiation on the deep soul level, on the spiritual level that they experienced with you on the emotional level. And it's something that they've kind of run out of options, it feels, at this point, as far as ways to kind of numb out, suppress, or hide from that. And yet they're fearing that they have come to this revelation, they've come to this truth a little too late to make a difference in this situation. They also say being apart has been more difficult than I can accept. So this is the energy of somebody suffering in silence, that as much as they may have, again, tried to move in another direction, really present this exterior of being very happy where they are, very content with any sort of separation or silence between the two of you. All of that is really an illusion. It's been very hard. It's been very difficult sort of living with the decision that they had made to not participate in this connection, to deny their feelings for you, reject the cup of love that you've had to offer in the past. And as much as they've put a lot of effort and energy to being very present, appearing very happy in their circumstances, there's been this deep and abiding yearning for you that nothing else has been able to fill. They also say, I want you to see the real me now. I've been hiding from our love for too long. So another confirmation of that idea of stuffing, suppressing, denying feelings that they had for you, that is it's unsustainable at this point in time. They can no longer run from and deny the truth of what they hold inside for you, what has persisted, what has only grown more intense and clear to them with time. There's this desire, this urge to move back in your direction, to try again, to try to make amends, but a lot of fear and doubt that whatever they would have to say or offer would be enough to make an impact, that the hands of time can turn in your favor at this point, almost feeling that there was a missed opportunity, something that they're really questioning if this is just their karma or almost their punishment to have to sit with this regret, feeling this very acute realization that they have moved in the past in a direction that was not in accordance with the calling of their heart, but was very fear-based, very much in accordance to sort of the marching orders that their ego had given them, or outside people who were involved in the situation, who may have been very judgmental of you or the connection, really didn't understand things, or had a very particular idea for this person as far as who they should be with, what type of partner would be best for them, that you didn't necessarily fit that description in certain ways, maybe many ways, or even all ways. And it's something that whatever had influenced their behavior in the past, maybe even fears, some deep kind of fear of commitment and intimacy, some sort of heartbreak they were holding on to from earlier instances in romance that didn't allow them to fully give and receive to you and this connection in the past in a sustainable manner. All of these things have really fallen apart. These are no longer adequate crutches for this person to lean upon, and they are surrendering and succumbing more and more to that reality of having made the wrong choice, wanting to course correct, but not really being certain how to do that. They also say we have had many past lives. So they may be having a lot of dreams about you, a lot of visions, a definite recognition that they had, perhaps even from the moment that they met you, of something very unique, very familiar about you at the energetic and soul level that could have been very alluring and at the same time very frightening for them, that in some way what they feel for you in the past and continue to feel defies explanation, it defies logic. It is It's unlike the types of connections of people that they see around them. It's unlike anything they've experienced before. And as much as they have tried to run and hide from this reality that they know you from somewhere, the two of you know one another on a deep spiritual soul level. They've been very unsuccessful in that kind of running and hiding activity, and are now at this point of starting to explore and face the truth and reality of the depth and the perplexing nature of what it is they feel for you. We also have Metatron healings, clearing out negative beliefs or fears. So that energy of Archangel Metatron is all about transmutation. It's all about ascension, up-leveling, transformation. So it feels like they are struggling at this point in time to break away from some toxic or limiting or karmic relationships, cycles, patterns within themselves, fighting the fear and this urge within them to just continue to remain silent and sort of keeping the feelings for you hidden and cloistered deep within. There's this desire to push forward, to step beyond their comfort zone, to move in your direction with the desire of bringing some kind of restoration or peace to counteract the heaviness and the negativity and whatever kind of sour note the situation was left on in the past. But it's a struggle. It's a personal process of alchemy that precedes their ability to bring something forth to you in the material world. They also say you inspire my spirit. So they may be watching you from afar. They've been witnessing, following along, keeping tabs on your personal journey and evolution, as much as they have tried on the surface to present a very unbothered, very uninterested persona or image. This almost feels like somebody who's secretly behind closed doors and in the shadows has been watching you, has been observing you, is very inspired by the ways in which you've picked up the pieces of your life and of your emotional body, of yourself in many different ways as a result of what has taken place, the disappointment in this situation, other struggles, trials, and tribulations that you've been through. They're seeing and recognizing you in a very abundant, healed and balanced vibration. They are seeing you as a source of peace. You inspire them to want to change, to do better, to live more authentically and in alignment with the calling of their heart and what is compelling them at the soul level versus how they may have been living up to this point in time. And again, these very fear-based programs acting in accordance with kind of the nudges and the urgings of their lower nature, their ego, people-pleasing, a lot of codependency that may have been going on, and you inspire them to really break free, to learn what their own authentic truth is, and to lean into this place of courage to be able to speak that truth out through their thought, deed, and action. They also say, I know we're being spiritually guided. So they are getting a lot of signs and synchronicities about you, a lot coming through in dreams as well. Again, this kind of past life recognition, that this is no accident the two of you have crossed paths in this lifetime. As much time has gone by, as much effort as they have put into kind of forgetting about you, moving on, they keep being brought back to the realization of these feelings they still hold within for you that maybe were never expressed in the past, or that they had kind of denied, leaned towards you, participated in the connection up to a certain point, and then made a 180-degree turn in the opposite direction, kind of running, shutting things down, and that this is something that hasn't sat well with them ever since that crossroads point where they moved away from you. And it's this energy here of being spiritually guided deep within themselves, changes that they are needing to make in order to transmute some kind of limiting or dense, negative, toxic patterns, situations in their life, to step more into that authenticity, that healed and whole version of themselves, which in time then may lead them to a place of courage and knowing as far as how to bring forth something of a restorative nature to you in the connection. They also say I am situating this karmic situation. So again, things may be unraveling with a third party or may already have kind of fallen apart. So they could be at the stage of trying to pick up the pieces, trying to sew their own heart and life back together after a series of tower moments and things that have crumbled. They may be looking to you and are very inspired by ways in which you have done this in your own life and through your own circumstances related to your dealings with this person or in other kind of areas of your life. Maybe some of you have a public platform where you talk about these things, healing and a spiritual journey where you even just in the photographs that you post, maybe, and then kind of in the musings that are going on about your daily life, they're seeing you in a very prosperous and abundant cycle. You've really turned a page, you've turned a new leaf in your life in a lot of ways, and it's something which is inspiring them to persevere, to carry on, to really put their own wellness and the truth of their heart, the authenticity of who they are at the forefront of their priorities. This idea of a karmic situation can also talk about toxic or one-sided friendships, relationships with family, tethers to belief systems, any kind of a lifestyle, any kind of addiction that they have been battling. All of this they are in the process of moving beyond, or if they have set up some healthy boundaries and barriers, this feels like someone who's in almost this cocoon mode, this healing process that may be starting very internally first and foremost, healing their perceptions, healing their mind, in order to be able to generate more of a balanced perspective, which can enable them to properly perceive a potential way forward to bringing some sort of restorative or more of a loving energy towards you in this connection in the future. They also say, I know more than you think. So this can again be that confirmation of somebody who's been keeping tabs on you from afar, watching from afar, very quietly, very anonymously, maybe from a fake profile or account online, kind of like in the shadowy energy behind closed doors. They have remained very interested in you, in your progress, in where you are at in your life. This can also really talk about research that they have done into soul connections, ways in which they are leaning into and finding truth and resonance about this deep past life connection that the two of you share. They're coming to this place of truth within themselves, clarity within themselves, where in time they may hopefully be able to bring forth something to you by way of repair and restoration. Ways in which they weren't necessarily equipped or didn't feel quite ready to reciprocate very consistently or to continue with the connection with what was really instigated and initiated between the two of you in the past. They are reaching this place of preparation, seeing their own kind of limitations and how their wounds may have really interfered with the beauty of what the two of you had experienced in the past, or kind of a larger plan and purpose that is available for the two of you to actualize together in the future. So I'm going to get some initials, and this can be a first, middle, or last name if you or this person, or it could spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. We've got Q, O, Y, J, N, E, P, A, W, and H. So those are your messages, Group 1. I hope they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I offer a variety of pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I also sell handmade jewelry, dream catchers, and sun catchers, if you're interested in checking any of that out as well. And I'm running a sale in my Etsy shop now through the end of the month of February. Everything's marked down 15%. So if you've had your eye on anything, now would be a good time to act upon that, as I don't often run sales. I've also launched a second channel here on YouTube. It's called Lady of the Dawn Tarot, and there's a link in the description box as well as in the channel section of my page for that. The format there's a little different from here. I do pick a cards as well as general energy check-ins, but the subject matters that I cover are related to spirituality, wellness, ascension, and self-love. So if that sounds interesting, I invite you to check that channel out. I thank you for your support there, as well as for your continued support here on this channel. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, Group 2. You chose the clear calcite. So I'm going to be getting 3 cards from 3 different decks, and let's see, what does your person want you to know from their higher self right now? Okay, and they say, I want you to see the real me now. I've been hiding from our love for too long. So if you find yourself in maybe a long and protracted separation or silence with somebody, a lot of unspoken feelings, unspoken words, somebody who's been running from you, is ghosted or blocked, this is definitely the energy of them really getting ready to give these feelings a more substantial place within their life, and in turn moving towards a willingness to express something to you, maybe wanting to come out of the silence, starting very small. This feels almost like a very cautious energy with this. They're not sure if they're ready to fully invest, maybe wanting to just start very simply, casual conversation, starting as friends, almost like pushing through their comfort zone, still a lot of fear that is holding them back, but they have turned a corner in some manner from just full denial mode, being very overwhelmed by the intensity of their feelings, very overwhelmed by the connection. A lot that may have been really activated and sparked within this person. This is almost the energy of somebody who's been in kind of hermit mode, maybe even just hiding out from you, but has gained a lot of wisdom in that separation, in the silence, is ready to bring forth something. to lean more in, at least internally, and for many of you wanting to bring that out into the material world as far as the truth of both how overwhelmed and confused they are by the nature of this connection, everything that goes along with it, signs, synchronicities, a deep sense of telepathy, this sense of soul knowing, just how odd and out of the ordinary and unexpected all this is, and yet at the same time how much of a warm sanctuary that feels like to them. That despite the fears, they're being drawn back in your direction, but maybe very timid to give too much all at once. Again, just wanting to give a little bit, not like breadcrumbing, but just wanting to start really small and to see what can grow from this point on. Where can you go from here? Is the situation beyond repair, or is it something that the two of you can almost construct a new and better foundation based on authenticity, based on communication, discussing both the positive and kind of the more difficult aspects of what is experienced internally and between the two of you, to see if some kind of amicable resolution can be reached, if forgiveness can start to germinate between the two of you, and if a new chapter in this story is possible. They also say, the distance between us is killing me. I long to hear your beautiful voice again. So they are missing conversations with you, interacting with you. It feels like a lot of having these discussions in their mind almost during this period of silence, wishing that they could just exchange ideas with you, tell you about everything that has been going on with them, everything they have learned, everything they've discovered, these words that they wish that they had spoken when they had the chance, that they are now seeing that window of opportunity has closed. And so it's taking a lot for them to summon the strength to move towards you, to try and begin again, or to see where the two of you can go from this point forward. A lot that may have shifted and changed with this person spiritually, energetically, emotionally, a lot of maturing that they may have done, a lot of, again, with that kind of hermit mode energy that was coming up here kind of at the beginning. It feels that it applies to more than just what has happened in this situation with you, but this is somebody who's almost been forced to do an inventory on themselves, or kind of in this, once they almost started running from you, it seemed to be kind of like a domino effect of many different things, like where the walls were closing in on them, where they had almost no choice but to sort of go within, search deep within, really do a fearless inventory of where they are at now in their particular life journey, choices that have led to specific situations, consequences, and results, a deep transformational energy as far as starting to take responsibility for themselves and for their actions and their circumstances, rather than just project and blame and run. A lot that they're wanting to share with you as far as wanting to discuss the fears and the feelings, wanting to again initiate conversation, break the ice between the two of you, start with getting to know one another again, reacquaint yourselves, especially if it's been a long time since the two of you have spoken, that they're understanding reasonably, rationally. You can't just dive right back in and pick right back up where you left off, that there's almost amends that need to be made, or familiarizing yourselves with this version of who each of you have really become, who you've stepped into, but there's a willingness to do that, to explore that, leaning into that possibility more than they have in the past. They also say, I'm resisting my desire for you because it's too late now. We've grown apart and you've moved on. So this card came out in group 1. So if you felt guided to watch that group, there may be additional messages there for you. But this can really tie into the idea of the fear that is holding them back, that they may have been thinking for quite some time, kind of leaning into this possibility of wanting to begin again, wanting to reconnect with you, try and reconcile. For some of you, they may have this perception that maybe you are involved with someone else. Perhaps some of you have moved on into other romantic connections, and that now this person feels like an outsider. They're not wanting to disrupt the harmony that you have going on. wondering if there's a place for them in your life at this point, fearing that that window of opportunity had closed. Maybe this is something where they can also be kind of doing research, watching you from afar, watching you online to try and gauge that. Are you available? Are you open? Are you focused on romance at this point? What's going on in your life? Kind of trying to do some research to figure out if they should approach where you are at in terms of your spiritual journey, your own kind of emotional and healing journey, where your priorities are. Your life may be very different from when you were last dealing with this person, kind of like a mutual activation that could have taken place where you each have been propelled on your separate spiritual journeys, your separate journeys of wellness and coming into a state of wholeness within, to where it is almost having to reintroduce yourselves to one another. You can't just pick right back up where you left off. You're both very different people. You've stepped into different versions of yourselves. And so there's a little bit of kind of a timid energy and uncertainty if the bond that connected the two of you in the past, if this is something that's still viable, if in this present manifestation of who you have become, what your life is like, is there room for this individual? Is this something you'd still be interested in? Is it, too late to kind of repair the bridges that might have been burned between the two of you? Is it something where it's best for them to just keep moving forward with their own journey and life and hold on to this regret and this realization of what they have lost now that it's gone? But with all of that, there's something very strongly that is pulling them back in your direction to at least make that effort, to reach out, to say something, to take a chance on this situation, rather than just kind of lingering in this energy of never knowing. We also have springtime. So this is that energy of that renewal, that rebirth, a desire that this person has of trying to breathe life back into the situation, wanting to explore and see if the seeds of love that existed between you at one point in time, are these still viable? Is this something where maybe this time around, because of the growth, because of the evolution, because of this maturation that the time apart has afforded the two of you, maybe if this was a right person, wrong time situation in the past, there's a questioning and almost a hopefulness that perhaps this time around things can work out between the two of you. And this is a timeless reading, so whenever you find these messages, please just take them as they resonate. But at the time that I'm recording this, we are exactly a month away from the beginning of spring, which is on March 21st of 2023. So this can definitely really be that confirmation that in the next month or so, this person may be, gearing up to sort of reach out to say something, wanting to sort of thaw out the iciness and the silence between the two of you, and to add more vibrance back into the situation. Reaching out from afar, going to great lengths to prove and provide you with not just words of change, but almost like these actions of change, a lot more dedication and commitment than they had expressed in the past. And they also say talking about our twin flame journey. So again, more of that confirmation about communication, wanting to reach out, wanting to discuss with you what they have learned in the separation and in the silence. This feels like somebody who on a level is done running from this connection. For a lot of you, they may have even come upon ideas about twin flames and soulmates and are resonating with that. If this was something you had proposed to them in the past that had maybe fallen on deaf ears, or it was something that was a very triggering concept or statement to them, it feels that they've almost come into a place of ease with this. They've researched it very independent. They've sat with that. They've marinated on that idea, on that concept. They've educated themselves in some manner. And it's feeling a lot less like a scary idea than it was in the past. It's feeling something that they're honoring this idea. They're cherishing this idea. It feels very unique, very special, something that they don't want to continue to allow this kind of life journey of theirs to continue on without exploring the dimensions and aspects and the purposes of this in a more profound and open manner with you. They may have done a lot of contemplation about this separately, But again, like with this idea of longing to hear your beautiful voice again, they're wanting to have conversations about this, even if they aren't resonating or don't know about terms such as twin flames or soulmates. There's a deep bond that they feel towards you, something that keeps drawing them back, wanting to see if you can start over, begin again, work with each other, work through the fears and kind of the difficulties that you may have faced in the past, to be able to forge something new, maybe starting small, but with the intention of ultimately building toward more cohesion than had existed between you in the past. They also say wanting to tell you how I feel. So a third confirmation there of really wanting to have this conversation, wanting to reach out, wanting to speak to you. So for a lot of you, communication may be coming in the very near future. This could be something where, again, there's a lot of fears that it's too little too late. This feels like someone who's kind of on the fence about this, if now's the time to reach out, if any of this would matter, if the situation's beyond the point of repair, or can you in some way restore the balance in this situation between the two of you. For some of you, this person could be literally or figuratively wanting to get down on bended knee and express their deep apologies to you, make some kind of declaration, open up about feelings that had been long suppressed, denied, or hidden, or that they had denied in the past. This can even talk about, a very deep and big conversation leading in the direction of them really discovering that you are the one, you are somebody that they want and need in their life, at least in some capacity, with kind of this long-term intention of starting from the bottom and kind of building your way up to whatever can develop between the two of you in the future. They also say, I reminisce a lot on the times spent with you. So this is that Six of Cups energy, that nostalgia, looking back over old photos, old conversations, DMs and social media, texts, emails, even just thinking back on words that you spoke, times that were better before they got scared, before they got overwhelmed. It feels a lot of contemplation about sort of the early days of your experience, that spark, that sense of soul recognition that is definitely drawing them, it's pulling them, it brings with it this curiosity to see if the two of you have changed and you have grown and you have gone through so much that maybe the time will finally be right for your story to work out together, to take on new meaning, for a new chapter to finally be written. They also say, I've looked into tarot readings. So this can tie into that idea of talking about our twin flame journey, where some of you, they may be watching pick a card readings, twin flame readings. They may have gotten readings about you. You guys could be watching similar readers, going to similar readers to get readings on one another. If this is someone who's not kind of in the tarot community in any way, then this can even just talk about relying on their own intuition, this kind of extrasensory perception of something very unique about the nature of this bond with you that has led to a lot of curiosity, a lot of searching. If they had tried to deny or suppress this in the past, they really are leaning into that. They're trusting in this a lot more than they had previously, as far as this being unlike other connections where they can't just forget about you. Time and distance has not extinguished the feelings that they have for you inside. And so this is someone who's starting to really honor that feeling within themselves, and to open up to the possibility that there's something very meaningful about this, that it's very extraordinary. It's unlike anything they've known. And while they are very terrified, they are also very exhilarated about what this could mean for the two of you going forward, as well as what does this mean for them individually as well. And they also say, I am going to take action. I am just planning the approach. So another confirmation there of somebody, for a lot of you, this person is very determined to come forth, to break the ice, to make amends, to offer something, to try and get that conversation started once more. They may be waiting for a particular occurrence. Maybe some of you have a birthday, or there's a significant day that's coming up in the springtime. They're wanting to really surprise you on that occasion. something again where they're doing a lot of research here, trying to sort of find out what's going on in your life, where are you at, where are your priorities, are you available, are you single, if you're seeing someone, or if they even have kind of that you could possibly be seeing somebody, then they're needing to kind of gather some more information, look at things, observe very, very quietly in order to really sort of make that strategy, put that in place as far as reaching out in a way that it almost feels leaves the door open in case you reject them, or that, it is too little too late, then they can kind of scurry away with a bit of their pride intact. So a delicate matter, but they are very much drawn in your direction. And for a lot of you are in serious planning and preparation mode to take action about this deep and compelling energy that is drawing them back towards you. So I'm going to get some initials, and this can be a first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or it could spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. We've got B, Z, S, A, L, Q, R, Y, I, M, and T. So those are your messages, group 2. I hope they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I offer a variety of pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I also sell handmade jewelry, dream catchers, and sun catchers if you're interested in checking any of that out as well. And now through the end of the month of February, I'm running a sale in my Etsy shop. Everything's marked down 15%, so if you've had your eye on anything, now would be a good time to act upon that, as I don't often run sales. I've also launched a second channel here on YouTube. It's called Lady of the Dawn Tarot, and there's a link in the description box as well as in the channel section of my page for that. The format there is a little different from here. I do pick-a-cards as well as general energy check-ins, but the subject matters that I cover are related to spirituality, wellness, ascension, and self-love. So if any of that sounds interesting, I invite you to check that channel out. I thank you for your support there, as well as for your continued support here on this channel. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well. Hi, group 3. You chose the Citrine. So I'm going to be getting 3 cards from 3 different decks, and let's see, what does your person want you to know right now from their higher self? Okay, and they say, I still feel connected to you, but I've waited too long to reach out. Is it too late for us? So if you've been in kind of a prolonged separation, distance, silence with somebody, they are still thinking about you. You're heavily on their mind. You are deeply entrenched, ingrained, emblazoned within their heart. This is something that may be very difficult for them to understand, why they can't just get over you and move on as they would in an ordinary connection. A curiosity here as far as if the situation can be resurrected in some manner, if it's just kind of their lot in life from this point on to move through the rest of their days with this recognition of what could have been, what they had been blessed with by the universe in the form of this very unique bond between the two of you, but which they had failed to act upon or had rejected or moved away from in the past. There's a curiosity about if the feelings between the two of you are even mutually felt at this point in time, as much as they hold you within their heart space still. They're curious if they still occupy a special place within your heart. They may be feeling and sensing your energy around them very acutely. A lot of dreams, a lot of telepathy going on. And there's a curiosity about, do you feel this as well? Are you experiencing this phenomena as well? Is this one-sided? It's almost the idea of the runner has now become the chaser in some capacity. And they also say, would I be rejected if I contacted you? Do you still want me? So confirmation right there of this curiosity, if you would even entertain this person back in your life again, if maybe you have evolved, your feelings have changed, if who they have evolved into, if this is even a version of them that you would be attracted to, that you would want to spend time with. A recognition, even just on the energetic level, but for a lot of you this could be in what they're observing in the material world, of some kind of glow up that you've undergone, some changes in your life, things that you're focusing on, how your priorities may have shifted, and there's a questioning where they would fit into this equation, into your world right now. Where you may have, had stars in your eyes for this person in the past, it feels that you are filling your own cup. You're very focused on self-love, this abundance mindset, cultivating healthy and balanced relationships in your life, to where they fear that what they may have to offer you at this point, that it might not be what you're looking for anymore. A recognition that, they can't just kind of step back in the same vibration and with the same sort of behavior and tendencies that had occurred in the past. And so a little bit of almost questioning if they have what it takes to kind of meet you at this vibration that you have ascended into, that they are able to either see and recognize if they are watching you from afar based on things that you post on social media, maybe things they've heard about you through the grapevine. Maybe someone has mentioned something in passing recently, or even in the not so recent past, that has really got them curious. They've had their eye on you for some time, and there's this desire to move in closer, but a questioning almost as far as if there's a place in your world anymore for them. They also say, I'm confused about what I should do about my feelings for you. So this is definitely somebody who is vacillating between making contact, reaching out, making some kind of effort, bringing forth an apology, or even some kind of just small conversation so you can begin very simply with each other, getting to know each other once again, or if they should just move forward in another direction, just forget about this, just hold this sense of regret, and this deeply entrenched feeling they have with you, if that is just the limit of all that can be experienced for the rest of this lifetime, if you will just be this companion, energetically speaking, and in the heart space for them as they continue to move through their life journey. So they may be in this place of planning and strategy, a little bit of fear, a little bit of kind of a lack mentality, like if they're good enough, if what they have to offer, if this is something you'd be interested in, if there's a place for them in your world at this point in time, that is holding them back from leaping forth. It feels like very profound and apparent feelings that they have for you, but again, this fear that is almost making them question if it's a good idea ever or at this point to make these feelings, these persistent feelings, these feelings that have only grown and intensified with time, known to you. They also say meeting me in the 5D. So confirmation right there of a lot of telepathy, this soul knowing between the two of you. They're feeling you energetically, having a lot of dreams of you, sensing you again as this companion energy that despite the separation between the two of you in a physical 3D sense, at that higher self level, you are one, you are joined. They feel very close to you. They feel very drawn to you. You represent home, a sanctuary, some point of familiarity to them at what might be a very new point in their life. This feels like somebody who may have changed a lot of things about themselves, about the company that they keep, about their priorities. They may have been engaged in raising their vibration as well. And so there's almost this uncertainty about this new version of them, which they feel good about who that is. They feel like they're standing in kind of a better version of them than they were occupying the last time you were dealing with them. But there's a bit of uncertainty about, are the two of you still on any level compatible now that you've gone through some sort of personal evolution and growth? Or is this something where perhaps for the duration of this lifetime, the connection needs to only be limited to that 5D sense, that it's almost a wondering, like, is your story over in the 3D, or is there a possibility to kind of move beyond where you've left things? They also say we are in this whirlwind together. So a lot of changes, up-levelings, ascension symptoms, growth that might not always be easy to deal with that you've been experiencing over the course of, after having met this person, or even things that have been going on recently. They're really acknowledging here that they're experiencing that as well. They're going through some kind of an up-leveling, a breaking free of cycles and patterns. They're just as confused about kind of what to do, maybe at times, as you have been about this situation. They still feel very connected to you, very drawn to you for reasons that they can't explain as well. There's a desire to move towards you and be more of a partner than they were in the past, to co-create with you, to try and work with and figure out a way to make this bond, this energy, this intensity, this process of ascension work to the best of and highest good of both of you, rather than where they have in the past been kind of resisting this, making you sort of go it alone, or feeling that they needed to just walk their own path. It's this urge to kind of come back together, two operating as one, which they already recognize is the case in kind of those higher realms, from the higher dimensions, and there's this desire to ground that down into physical reality at this point or in the near future. And we also have winter time. So with this image here of the two people kind of kissing from afar, this is again that idea of, that 5D connection, that although you are very much in separation from one another, this idea of the winter phase of your connection, something that's gone dormant, maybe a long period of no contact, that there's still a lot that is compelling them in your direction. They still feel very close to you, very bonded with you, a desire to come out of this winter phase, to break the ice, to renew the situation in some manner. It's a timeless reading, so whenever you find these messages and they resonate, please take them accordingly. But at the time that I'm recording this reading, we are actually wrapping up the season of winter here in the Northern Hemisphere. We are exactly a month out today, actually, from spring, which is on March 21st. So this can definitely tie into a lot that is compelling them to you at this particular real-time moment. You may be feeling them a lot more intensely, this magnetization towards one another, that almost like they may be planning something or feeling or kind of moving with the seasons, where, as sort of the weather's warming up a little bit relative to where you are, We still are in these periods of time where there's, kind of those blizzards and those rainstorms, and it's cold, and then there's little glimmers of kind of like warmth and something changing. The lights getting brighter, the days are getting longer, and all of this, it feels like, coincides with what is happening within this person as well. They're moving out of this place of like a shadowy energy, feeling very in the dark as far as what to do. Life being breathed back into the possibility of what the two of you could potentially create in the future in this connection. And so they may be sort of taking this time kind of as the winter wraps up, just sort of wrap up and deal with any sort of residual fears within them. A desire to make some kind of move forward, to ground down into physical reality, what has been a very pervasive connection between the two of you in those higher realms. They also say, I have inner child wounds. So a fear of rejection, a fear of inadequacy can definitely be something, stemming from rejection in their childhood, maybe some kind of heartbreak early in their romantic life, somebody where, they'd opened up, they had expressed kind of the fullness of who they are, this aspect of the vulnerability and the strength that they possess, and that might have been rejected or denied in some manner that is very difficult for them to kind of overcome. That almost feels like this blockage where they feel safer at this point in a distance, and yet they're reaching out to you, a desire to grow and mature with you in this connection, to move past kind of the elementary stages of what you have experienced together with one another, but it's something within them, almost this fear that what they have to bring is not good enough. Maybe seeing you as well as somewhat more elevated on your spiritual path, in your life, and any abundance that you're creating, you're bringing in for yourself, and it's causing them to really look around at ways in which they feel very inadequate. They don't really know what they have to contribute to your world or to your surroundings or experiences at this point in time. And so this is something that they are really in the process of combating within themselves in order to make change in the situation. They also say, I know you're my twin flame. So that can be a confirmation right there. If you resonate as a twin flame, that this person has come to that awareness. Maybe this is a concept that you introduced to them in the past that they had run from, they'd rejected, or it was just something that hadn't resonated. But that kind of independently, they've sat with this. Maybe they've come upon information just in their own journeying. If this was nothing that had been mentioned, you two almost on these parallel paths have reached that same destination. You're unpacking that same concept or idea, something where they've really been seeking and searching an explanation for all of these kind of liminal aspects of this situation, the telepathy, the feeling of the energetic presence, this soul bond, this soul knowing, a lot that's been activated and awakened within them. Someone who's definitely evolved substantially in terms of their spiritual knowledge, their level of awakening and openness. And so it's just this recognition in some way that despite how things play out in this lifetime in the material sense, you two are already one in those higher realms, that there's a larger and ever-changing kind of purpose for the two of you having encountered one another, what you are experiencing right now, these changes, this growth. It's almost like the way in which they sit with this concept or this energy, it changes and metamorphosizes with time. But if they'd been in this place previously of kind of running in denial, they're in this place of acceptance and knowing, even if they don't have the words or titles or to put to things, or they don't necessarily identify with that. There is definitely a recognition that this connection with you, this experience with you, which continues to this day, in that energetic sense, despite the physical distance, that there's something very unique, very special, and worth kind of exploring further. It's worth investing in further. It's worth, seeing if the two of you can kind of build and co-create with this energy and this concept further. And they also say this whole twin flame stuff, sometimes scares me. So a double confirmation there. They know you're their twin flame and it terrifies them. The idea of, ascension and spirituality and past lives and the timelessness and the unity of one another at that higher self level, all of this feels to be very outside of the box for this person. They may have come from very traditional background, be a very logical, grounded person. They hadn't been open to, ideas about spirituality, ascension, all of this really, this whirlwind, a lot kind of changing and shifting within themselves, a very uncomfortable and rapid cycle of ascension and growth and expansion, that it feels like they've reached a place of a little more kind of equilibrium in that. They've got a little more of their footing than they had in the past when they had kind of moved away or sort of ghosted you or kind of blocked this situation out, almost just due to the intensity. They needed to sort of shut down maybe some of those inner child wounds to kind of run and hide, kind of hide under their blanket, hide under their bed, because they were terrified of what was happening to them. And through the experience with you, a lot of signs and synchronicities that may have just been very unusual for this person. They've come to more of a place of knowing about that, more of a place of comfort, that this connection is unshakable no matter what they have tried, no matter how far they have run. They keep coming back around to you. So they've almost concluded a cycle of that evasiveness within themselves. They're leaning into and becoming more comfortable with kind of sitting in the unknown, in the ever-changing aspects of this dynamic and of themselves as well. But there's still a lot of fear that is sort of holding them back. Like, what's the larger meaning and purpose to this? Where do we go from here? What's kind of our final destination with one another? Where does this all lead? What's the point and the purpose? Drawn towards you to try and decipher and figure that out together, and still very intimidated and uncertain if they have what it takes to really meet you and match you at the frequency with which you have moved through this experience. A call to action, a call to really join you on this spiritual path, to join you where they belong by your side, but a little bit of fear as well, as far as if they are really ready to take this next step yet, or perhaps even in sort of the near future, the long-term future in this lifetime. So someone who's still kind of working through those fears, but definitely leaning more into that place of certainty and recognition of what they feel in their heart, and answering that call as it is compelling them towards you. So I'm going to get some initials, and this can be a first, middle, or last name of you or this person, or it could spell something out, just whatever resonates for you. We've got E, Z, X, B, W, Y, L, R, and S. So those are your messages, group 3. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, or share. If you'd like a personal reading, I offer them through my Etsy shop, and there's a link in the description box of the video for that. I offer a variety of pre-recorded video readings, written readings, and channeled letters. Turnaround time on everything is 5 to 7 days from the time of purchase. I also sell handmade jewelry, dream catchers, and sun catchers if you're interested in checking any of that out as well. And now through the end of the month of February, I'm running a sale in my Etsy shop. Everything's marked down 15%, so if you've had your eye on anything, now would be a great time to act upon that, as I don't often run sales. I've also launched a second channel here on YouTube. It's called Lady of the Dawn Tarot, and there's a link in the description box as well as in the channel section of my page for that. The format there's a little different from here. I do pick-a-cards as well as general energy check-ins, but the subject matters that I cover are related to spirituality, wellness, ascension, and self-love. So if any of that sounds interesting, I invite you to check that channel out. I thank you for your support there, as well as for your continued support here on this channel. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.